Welcome back everybody, N55 Morse with another video. And I feel like every single time I say this is an exciting one because they truly are. So we have a two-part in our Is It Worth the Express series where we test cheap AliExpress, Amazon, and eBay parts on my car so you don't have to. So without further ado, let's get ready. So for the first part, we have a carbon fiber diffuser with the ring light. I think this is definitely the perfect piece to complement the rear end of the F30. I also believe that they do not have a lot of diverse diffuser styles for the F30, so I believe going carbon with the rain light is kind of the most aggressive option you have before actually going to a Jex Village, so I apologize if I butchered that name, which I think is $1,000, or an AA Concepts, which I think is always out of stock and rightfully so. So now here are some close-up shots. Once again, it has the rain light. I believe this is 72 bulb. I forget. As you know, all products I do purchase, I always put in the description to check it out. It came with no wiring instructions, but I am quite good with wiring electronics. So I, of course, will have instructions in this video if you are not the best with them themselves. Like I said, it is real carbon overlaid on top, not carbon all the way through. But once again, I believe this is a very, very nice piece, especially for the price I paid for it. Secondly, something different, something for a change, and to complement now the ever so getting aggressive rear end. We got custom red tips. Sellers, once again, were kind enough to do them custom for me at no extra charge. Carbon sleeve, perforated in the middle. And of course, the M logo right there. So these will have to be banged off, so you will need a chunk of wood, whether it be 2x4 or something skinnier, and a hammer to knock these off. These do clamp back on. Unfortunately, the stock pipes are held in by rivets. So as you can see in the background, I already have my 335 jacked up in the air, so we can skip that boring part, and I believe we're going to start first with the knocking off the old exhaust pipes, so that way once the diffuser is on or anything, we don't end up hitting it with the hammer. So let's get those shots. Taking the phone off the mount, you can see the tips. So these are the rivets that I was referring to. So there's our hammer and a few chunks of wood. As you see, the car is jacked up and supported. So I will be putting the hammer right behind the tips, the wood behind the tips, and then using this chunk of wood to hammer out the tips. Mine came with from the car when I bought it for the previous owner, kind of tarnished. You could barely see the M logo on this. And of course, the insides were black. I tried to polish it when I first got it, but I said it's okay another time. I forget the size of my tips I got. I do believe they are around 3.6 inches, or forget the exact millimeter dimensions. Once again, I will leave all my links and everything in the description below. So hammering to no avail, I did bang out my rotary tool with a carbide burr with a point. I tried a drill bit, but the drill bit just snapped off, and I believe this will be a lot harder to break, so this is what we're going to try next. Hopefully break those rivets free, and then it'll just be the corrosion between the tips and the exhaust pipes themselves. And there we have it punched out. See the M logo there and the two rivet holes. So what I did end up doing is, after I initially hit it, it kind of shifted the rivet to the side a little bit. And then what I ended up doing is getting just a flathead screwdriver, punching off the rivet hat, and then punching the rivet itself through with the 5/16 tapered punch. Actually worked kind of well. So you can't really tell much markings. So happy with that. However, unfortunately, I do think I bought the wrong size, as we can tell. So I will have to get that sorted rather quickly. However, I'm still gonna punch on the other side to make it an easier fit whenever I do visit the exhaust shop. Knowing that we will deal with the tips on a later fiasco. However, as you know, if they're the right size, you of course would knock these tips out and put your new ones in. The reason why I believe I have this almost adapter extension, whatever you want to call it, because I do have the M Performance exhaust. I know it's extremely dirty on the body, but I do have the M Performance exhaust. And I believe if you have the MPPSK as well, you do have this weird insert. However, like I said, the stock pipe inside should be the 67 mil, I do believe, so it should slip over no problem. However, that is a fight for another day. So now to do the diffuser, as you know, is this lower part. It clips up top here and along the top, and then underneath is a series of T20s, of course rusted, and I believe at the ends, the two 8mm. So we'll just put that on the gun, blast them out, and then slowly pry out the stock diffuser. As you can see, taking off the stock diffuser is not a very daunting task. Once again, as I mentioned, you see just some weathering strip, and then just the clips up top, and then three T20s, and the 4 total 8mm. So now that we have that off, next will be kind of to mock up the way this new diffuser goes on. So there are 3 wires to the lights, which I will bench test them first. Just like I said, this is a mock-up. So there's 3 colors here: black, red, and yellow. I would like to assume black is ground. That's always obvious. Yellow probably is the daylight runner, and red is the brake light. That's just the first guess. However, once again, I will figure that out as we go forward. However, quick mock-up. This is looking needs maybe some motivation and some bends. Try not to bend it too much because it will snap. But that's something quick. I think this is going to look killer. So let me run the wires first and bench test it, make sure it works, and I'll report which wire is what, and then we'll fully install it. So I did bench test this. I stripped back some of the wiring. I have to dock this. This wiring is absolutely atrocious. It doesn't even fit in the smallest gauge for this, which the focus I think is 18 gauge. So knock some points off from there. However, moving on, we will have to remove the bolts to this brake light. Of course, it's activated off this brake light. So I'm thinking how to snake it up. We'll figure out, and I'll tell you guys once I figure that out. As well as yellow actually connects to the brake. It flashes. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of that. I'll connect it for now. And then red would be your daylight runner, so you can always on. And of course, like always, black is ground. So I'm gonna install and then route these wires and see how it is. After working feverishly, this diffuser does not want to install straight. We can see on this side, the lines are quite nice, but just as the axe, it is quite rigid, and this is not actually made to the correct size. I'll drop some pictures right in front of this. It actually comes up a touch short, so because of its kept wanting to expand to conform to the shape, it's putting too much tension and then popping out. So right now I have some heavy construction adhesive, and then I put tape to hold it, but I wasn't doing much. So I think the jack holding with the pad at a certain angle to hopefully hold it until the morning when the glue dries. Could hold it in place for just long enough. So that is currently the plan, and let's hope it works. In the meantime, let's just get on to with the wiring of it. Now we see the two nuts holding on the outer tail light, just a 10 millimeter. Here's one. Here's two. Bring those aside, stick your fingers in. Kind of want to rock it back and forth out. That's it. Now we can see the outer tail light. We have our connector here, which then we are going to tap and figure out which light is the brake and which light is the daylight runner. And I'm probably thinking about maybe sanding one of these down to the bare metal and then putting the ring terminal over it and then covering it back, or maybe running it inside closer to the battery so I don't have outside bare metal exposed. So now let's get a partner, friend, or a brother in my case, and then tell them to step on the brakes while turning the light and test to see which is which. So through the testing that we saw, the innermost light, which is this yellow one, is the daylight runner. The outer, look on this blue with the gray stripe, is the brake light. So what we're going to do is going to peel back some of this electrical tape they have here and strip back some insulation, and then take our own wires, wrap around them, and tape it up the same way. I think funny enough, I cannot find my black electrical tape, but the blue one will do the same job. I also found that this is not a reliable ground. I was testing off the ground of the battery, so I will have to figure out how to get this light through the cabin and then plug that. So everyone saw how it connected the daylight runner and the brake and get the light in there, and I just went directly to the battery. I couldn't find a really reliable ground. Don't worry about that. That's just the battery tender for the winter. Of course, you see it's not connected. So I'm gonna get some shots. It is now on. And like I said, I really had to add some glue and the jack and a whole bunch of hope and faith, hoping this will stay. I was actually really tempted not to advertise this, as of course this is now going on the internet. However, I think this is exactly the point of the channel. So you know what, I go through the hardships, you guys do not have to. And there you guys have it, the AliExpress carbon fiber diffuser with the rain light, as well as the exhaust tips installed. As you saw that we ran into some issues. However, granted that now you know if you do have the M Performance exhaust, you know to order a bigger size. I have a friend that ran into the same issue and all he did was order the new size. However, I have these and I have a couple events coming up, so probably gonna take it to exhaust shop to make it work. So I still think the quality behind those is still fine. Once again, error on my part. However, the diffuser, as beautiful as it looks, and as wonderful as the rain light works, I honestly truly cannot recommend this product because it's such ill-fitting, and I was working it for almost 2 hours just to make it fit, and then at the end of the day still didn't fit, requiring glue, and we saw that little sketchy jack set up to hopefully hold it until the morning. However, that is just the way the cookie crumbles, especially with these AliExpress products, and of course that is the whole point of this series. So I hope everyone learned something. Make sure everyone subscribe, hit the bell icon so you don't miss my new uploads, and stay tuned for next time and 55 more. See you on the next video.